I'm not usually the type that will tell bits of my life story when no one asked for it in the first place, but this video is dedicated to someone special. More on that guy later on. Sometime in early 2020, I stayed in Tokyo for a while to learn some stuff and sharpen my driving skills. So I decided to hit up some after-hour car meets in Tokyo that happened through word of mouth. Found a bunch of talented cats in the automotive tuning world that appeared in the city at the same time I was around. Got the chance to meet people like Shinichi Motohoshi, flashy Lamborghini driver of the Fighting Star crew, Steve Feldman of Steve's Point of View, cruising his Cannonball Ferrari in Tatsumi, PA, Ken Block, that showman known to do gymkhana stunts, Dustin Morris of Mischief TV, F-Spot, a YouTuber that knows ins and outs of car shows, Kino of Lost Royalty, chillin' with his unique WRX STI Daikoku, some stance crew known as Scrape, Noriaro, usually seen at drift events. Never had the dialogue with the guy, but he briefly streamed me passing by as I was leaving a car meet. Even the Anija crew approached me when I took plenty of pictures of the Ferrari. It was for my friend that wanted to replicate the ride in Gran Turismo Sport. I have a gut feeling that I will intertwine paths with all those guys later in life. About the meets, there was one that happened in Akiba UDX, which is an underground parking lot populated with otakus and their rides covered in anime decals. It's because they hang out in that district doing their weird thing. So if you're in Tokyo and that happens to be your cup of tea, I would recommend checking it out. However, I believe taking pictures in that car park is forbidden. Over there, I got to meet Dustin, a crazy nutjob, which I mean in a good way, whose shenanigans landed him a deal in Rockstar Games, where his Mazda was featured in the cover and introduction film for the first Midnight Club. I felt like I shouldn't bug him too much due to his well-known status, but he turned out to be an easily approachable guy. Basically said hi to him, asked for a picture, had a short conversation about his legacy, and traded contact info. While that was going on, there was these Malaysian guys who approached me because they saw my ride and were big fans of the Mitsubishi Evolution. One of the guys in the group asked for a picture of all of us with my ride in the background. So I was like, "Mochiron," or in English, "of course." At one point of our conversations, one of the guys took his jacket off to flex his shirt with the Evolution logo. That immediately made me think of an inside joke between me and my first subscriber and friend, Tokyo Extreme Drifter. So to fill in some context, every time Tokyo Drifter would see a Lancer, he would shout, "Evo!" So to compliment the guy, I shouted out, like nearly on top of my lungs, "Evo!" The same time I shouted that out, I was not aware that some YouTuber or something, vlogging and commentating about, was behind me this whole time sneaking past my field of vision. Right when he panned his camera to my right, he was like, blah 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 blah, we got a new Supra over here, blah blah blah. Then I accidentally cut the guy off and shouted, "Evo! Evo!" to the crowd that I was talking to which he replied, "Shh," then continued commentating on the cars in the lot. I felt so bad that after I was done talking to the Malaysian tourists, I come looking for the guy and apologize to him. But here's the messed up part. Not to be racist, but you know how some of the people think all Asians look alike? Over there, I felt like Americans of Caucasian descent with expensive camera equipment looked alike as well. I asked a couple of people if they were that person, but they said no. But I'm sure he'll understand. Shortly after, that meet got shut down because the staff member turned off the lights. So I checked out another one that happened in Shibuya. That took about 15 minutes worth of driving, if I remember correctly. In this one I got to meet F-Spot, a YouTuber that's really good at keeping tabs at a local car show and finding interesting highlights. He's a pretty chill guy. He told me about his future plans at the time preparing his Bozozoku build. After chatting with them, there's these YouTuber content creator clique that showed up in this little circle. I really didn't want to talk to those vultures. They seem like the type where once they find out about something and upload their discovery on the internet, it's not cool anymore. I also appeared in that one Forza YouTuber's vlog, but he had that annoying kid vibe, mainly because he revved his engine at an elementary school out of all places, when no one there even asked for it, let alone cared for it. But that's just my opinion of people like him who like to boast and brag a lot. That doesn't mean you have to necessarily agree with me 100% and unsubscribe to him, whatever, if you're already a fan of that guy. Like here, in this clip, I was only there in the first place because the driver of that R34 was Austin powering his way out of that lot, but everyone gave him way more than enough room to get out. I was simply assisting that kid, but didn't realize he was in the passenger seat filming for his vlog, and I thought to myself, I really didn't want to be filmed by him, but whatever. Alright, so to fast forward, after hours is about over and I just dipped and moved on about my day. Oh, and this part's freaking hilarious looking back at it.
Oh, wait.
This was the reason why I didn't release this long lost film the moment it happened, but over time I learned it wasn't much of a big deal. So one of these guys were like, lol, Shinichi Morohoshi, because I slapped one of the stickers in my rear bumper. These following guys looked at me confused because I reversed and turned on my signal lights. And I pointed my finger to the direction to tell them that I was going to make a right. I'm fine with this little infraction. It's best to follow the arrows and not deal with unnecessary attention from anyone trying to get out. See the kid on the left side trying to tell me to honk? I would have done it, but at the time I didn't see the kid. My bad, little dude. Didn't mean to blow you off like that. The guys on the right side were in my way. This following part is pretty cool. I felt courteous and took it as a "look mom, I'm famous" type of moment. I just chilled back for a bit and let them enjoy the picture taking. If you look closely straight ahead, I stayed there for a hot minute because some big boy was in the way. I wasn't in the mood to honk at him or flash my high beams. I could sense the crowd was wondering why I was stood there for a while, so I pointed at the big guy to tell them why I stopped there. Arigato gozaimasu. So here are the remnants of the American tourists, I presume.
Peace out, guys.
So here we are near the exit. I recalled waiting a hot minute here because someone ahead lost their ticket. Now that we're chilling here, I guess I can talk about what happened. So I was supposed to come back to Japan April, but the world's problem today that we know and love was happening at the moment, and still is during the making of this video. I could have gone back without a care in the world, at least for me, but I need to be courteous to everyone's health. I felt that was way more important to look after my family and friends in the United States while this is going on. So I'm basically stuck here until everything is greenlit and we all get the okay to resume back with our lives. I was making the best of this downtime by finishing these video projects I had planned for a while, mostly related to racing games. Originally, I was going to save all of that for 2021. I believe everything will be lifted by the time I naturally hit that 200th video mark on this channel. Hopefully by then, I will reach 100,000 subscribers, which is my ultimate goal for YouTube. The day that happens, I will likely have enough money saved to get back to Japan and continuing on perfecting my craft and my life's work. But cool, you made it this far to this video. As you may or may not know, I primarily created this video in dedication to Garrett Lockhart, aka who unfortunately passed away earlier this week. Hearing about this news in particular has definitely hit me with the feels. He gave me that certain connection by engaging a conversation with me about car stuff. We were talking about him wanting to do a music tour in Japan and checking out the Tokyo car meets on the side, but now he's gone. May he rest in peace. Your music and memories will live on eternally. As for me, I likely spent some sleepless nights making a tribute video for him and his S2000. Hopefully I will get it done before Sunday. To all my supporters, you can look forward to the Tokyo Extreme Racer 0 100% completion video coming real soon for the meantime. Well, thanks for watching. Be safe out there. Till next time.
Take care.